Bickley and Marana Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
It's not the 6 home runs that have traveled a combined 2,418 feet or the length of 8 football fields. It was the pop-up that traveled 45 feet and fell harmfully to the ground. It was the manager complaining about his team not picking up the baseball, the phrase Torey Lovello always uses when he's disgusted with his crew. And it was the site of the National League Championship Series bringing out the worst in the Diamondbacks, because that is what happened last night in South Philly, and that is the one outcome the Diamondbacks really need to avoid in whatever is left in this series. They need, at the least, to regain their identity and their dignity. They need to locate their lost aggression. They need to look like a baseball team that has a bright future, not a team that looks lost on baseball's penultimate stage. Clearly, there is nothing wrong with losing to these Phillies. That team looks like a juggernaut on a mission, and nothing is going to stand in its way. Their vibe with their home crowd is one of the loudest, most transcendent, symbiotic relationships in sports, and they are both enjoying historic postseasons. So, now it's time for our fans to duplicate what Chase Field felt like against the Dodgers. Our time to match the decibel level in Philadelphia, because it's the least we can do, and maybe the most we can do, and maybe, just maybe, that will help rescue our baseball team from the brink of extinction. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW. Make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Embrace the chaos. That's the Arizona Diamondbacks slogan for the postseason. They haven't really done that from a baseball standpoint in the first 2 games of the championship series. But I like this, Bick. Put the onus on the fans.
Do it. Yeah,
the afternoon crowd at Chase Field to create the chaos.
Yes, and I'm going to make that. I'm going to implore that the fans do as much for a couple of different reasons. Number one, this wonky 2:07 p.m. start. Afternoon baseball, after you play in a series of primetime, nighttime games, can feel a little anticlimactic. It might be a good time to steal a victory from the Phillies, catch them napping a little bit if that's possible. I don't know if it is. But more to the point, there's nothing the Phillies can do, no matter how strong and beer league softball mashing that they are. There's nothing they can do to stop you from screaming your lungs out. Nothing. There's nothing they can do that will prevent you from giving the Diamondbacks an enormous home field advantage. And what they do with it, they do with it. That's the way to approach this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you start talking, again, this is becoming such a story, this baseball night in South Philly. It's all the baseball world is talking about. It's one of the most vibrant home field advantages in the history of the sport. And every now and again you get towns that vibe perfectly with their teams. We had that with the Suns. I think we still do have that with the Suns. But when it first happened in 2021, how special it was?
Yeah,
you remember that?
all of the national voices who were experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Mike Wilbon came on this show and raved about it.
Yep.
Stephen A. Smith was speechless. I mean, that atmosphere was real. Mm-hmm. The connection, as you put it, was real. There's no reason why that can't be recaptured tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the reason is because they got killed in the first 2 games.
That's true.
And it's hard to get even though it is best of 4, best of 7, even though they say, the series doesn't start until the, road team wins a game. It's hard not to let that creep into you that the series is already over and not to get that energy up. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad you brought it up like that, because to me it dawned on me last night that the idea of playing with house money always sounds like a great idea, but is it really? When you're playing with house money, it means you've nothing to lose. It means your investment is only marginal.
Yes, but anybody who's ever played with house money knows the feeling. When the luck starts to change, when you're like, you always begin the same way. This is house money. I'm on them. This is great. And then you start to lose that house money. You're like, I got to get up from this table now.
Yeah, right. Right. And I think in the case of a sports team, I think that if you're playing with house money, it's very easy for your fan base to go, okay, you know what? We've had our fun. We've had our fun.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice. The Dodgers. We're not going to duplicate what we felt against the Dodgers. Let's just peace out and check out and go move on to something else. That's what the crowd cannot do tomorrow.
That's
do
the
not
message.
be sitting on your hands tomorrow because you feel like the energy and the swag has been stolen from your baseball team.
Don't
D-backs
get
fans.
up and go to the buffet. Wait until
Right.
all the house money is gone.
And if you go to the buffet, stir the soup.
Yes, before you take it, don't let the film on top just
No,
and then dig it.
that's an abomination.
They're out. D-backs fans, look at it this way. You're out of house money. Okay? Time to open the wallet now and use your own money and invest. Did that make any sense?
I don't know.
That sounded pretty good in my head.
Yeah, it did.
I was really excited for that one.
Dude,
And then
Jarrett, that was good.
Undoubtedly better in your head than it did on the air.
Right,
I was
that's
excited
right.
for it.
On the
It
note
kinda-
of money, though.
No, I think, but I think what you do is you say emotional currency. You're out of the house money. Now you need to invest again emotionally to make it matter. If it's house money, you can convince yourself, it doesn't matter if I lose this. I didn't have to work for this. This is not what I ever thought I would have.
Yeah.
And I think that fans don't act that way tomorrow. If you have got a ticket to the game, do not let Game 2 rain on your proverbial parade.
Hard to do
Oh,
because
yeah.
we talked about
Especially in this town.
one of the storylines early in this series was, and Jared, I think, brought this up first in one of his salient points.
Yeah.
Well, how do the Diamondbacks respond after a loss? They hadn't lost in the postseason going into this. They had won 5 straight games. They lose game 1, showed some late fight. Like, all right, yesterday on the show, we used the phrase tasting their own blood. They tasted their own blood for the first time. How did they respond? They responded by going to the blood buffet for thirds and fourths. They've ingested a lot of blood. This change of scenery can't be coming at a better time.
Sounds like someplace Adam Silver would eat. The blood buffet.
Yes, please stir the blood, yes.
So now it's really time to respond, and you hear this phrase too, and Torey Lovello said it last night, quote, "We've got to play Diamondback baseball. What we watched out there was not anything that we have done for a long period of time. We've got to regroup." Follow-up question to Torey Lovello. What is Diamondback baseball?
Yeah, Diamondback baseball is grinding out at-bats, having mature at-bats, driving up pitch counts, catching pop-ups, picking up the baseball. The pitching and defense goes hand in hand, and we find a way to score 5 runs or more and win a baseball game by just being a really smart, stubborn baseball team in all areas.
He wasn't the only one that was asked that question. Tommy Pham, who had a rough night at the plate last night, was also asked, what is Diamondbacks baseball?
Fundamentally sound baseball. We usually play clean defense. We run the bases really well, and we're a pretty resilient group. So I would say he's right by saying that, and we have to clean some stuff up.
Yeah, and honestly, they did not lose because of a lack of fundamentals last night. The fundamentals broke down late when that game was decided, and a lot of it was cosmetic. They lost that game because of partly what Torey Lovello said, grinding out mature at-bats. That was not happening last night. They were almost in awe of Aaron Nola while he was on the mound for the Phillies.
Yeah, way too many caught lookings. I haven't seen that many backward Ks. I don't have anything.
I was trying to come up with something
anything
last
with that.
night during the game on that front, but nothing really. Where do you see backward Ks?
You don't.
Other than a score sheet.
That's it.
Which, by the way, I continued my dorky practice last night of keeping score at home until the 6th inning.
Oh, really?
This is stupid. I don't need to do this
6th?
anymore.
What changed?
Well, you remember the old famous Dan Patrick line for those scoring at home or watching the baseball game?
And then he also, for those scoring at home, even if you're alone.
For those scoring at home, you're a dork.
It was funny,
Look
though.
at you, Murata.
It is funny that in that, what is Diamondbacks baseball? He threw in the, catching pop-ups.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like that's the
embarrassing.
mark of an
I'm telling you.
elite baseball team.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it bothered him, yeah.
Yes. When you go back and you find out Torey Lovello at his most disgusted, I swear you will find that phrase all over the sound bites, picking up the baseball. It's his way of saying, stop with the Mickey Mouse stuff.
Yeah.
Catch the ball. There is nothing that makes him more agitated than, what does Steve Berthium call it? A snowball fight.
Yeah. It's perfect description.
Yeah.
Ball
Just going this way, that way,
throwing
right?
all over the place.
Throw it at who's ever closest to you, and it just, right? It's just ridiculous.
This is an easy game. You hit the ball, you catch the ball.
What does that make you? Oh, lollygaggers.